So, my dear, this is going to be a bit of a...
This is funny.
Yeah. So what's dating like in your generation? Do you think it's easier or harder?
I think it's harder. We're socialized in such a different way nowadays. We're being fed so many different standards and things to compare to with just the rise of the internet and the rise of people being so much more vocal about their pursuits of love, how they pursue love, what their standards for pursuing love are. I think that we're just being constantly fed things that make it a little bit more harder to get to the root of why you're with somebody, and it makes it a little harder to connect on real levels nowadays.
Would you say it's easier to fall in love, to find true love?
Not to find true love. I think it's definitely easier to fall in love. There's so many facades. Like, it's so easy to fake your way through things nowadays. Back in the day, though, I do see how it was easy to do it then too. You know, I always think about how, like, back in the day, you had to write a letter and wait 3 months for it to get there. There was no popping up on your partner if there was a long, you know, if it was far from you. You had to make phone calls, and you know, it was more of an effort. Nowadays, you can make little to no effort and somebody thinks they're in love with you. So I just think we're socialized differently now. Our standards of dating and relationships is just so much. It's so fast processed as well. Like, we're just being all thrown into this pot and being like, all right, here's a million people, and pick the one person you love, or you don't love that person, go pick that person. And
that is so true.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about socializing. How do you think social media has impacted relationships?
I think it's made it a bit more fickle. I don't know, me personally, in my experience with online dating and dating apps, I think I've never really partook in them, and I do hear all these amazing stories about how people find love, and true love at that, through these dating apps and online. But for me personally, I think with the idea that you just have so many options, it kind of just, it makes it a little less meaningful, a little less intentional. You kind of like, you know, just tell yourself this story that if this doesn't work out, then this is going to work out. Or if the grass isn't green here, then it's greener over here.
Options.
Yeah.
And patience.
Exactly. And I think me just having like a bit of an old soul, I've never really connected with online dating and things like that. But I do know, and I have heard stories of people dating online and being super successful. You know, I also think the mindset of the person going in, it really matters as well. So, yeah. What was considered romantic in like your time? You know, like, did people believe in love at first sight and stuff like that, or?
You know what? I'd say I know people that do believe in love at first sight. I can't honestly say that I have experienced love at first sight, if there is such a thing. But for me, romance, because I don't see it today, but romantic experiences were, it is the letter writing, receiving a letter, opening it, a note across the table, courtship. You know, it wasn't just going to dinner, maybe taking a walk down the embankment, taking a walk down to London Bridge, sitting down by the water, having a glass of wine and something to eat. Those kind of things. And let me see, love at first sight, no, it had to develop. I have heard people say, though, that they have seen something where they just know what is the one. But for me, friendship is really the foundation for a relationship for me. So it's something that has to develop.
So do you think, like, back then and in your time, that love was simpler or just different?
Maybe less fickle. Your love was something you declare to each other first. I think today's relationships looks like it needs, if, you know,
like outside validation. Yeah,
exactly. Like, if you're not showing the world what, you know, what they're doing for you, these grand gestures, if they're not documented, and people are too much into your business now, that for me, I think takes away and also puts pressure on a relationship, as now it becomes performative. Are they doing these things for you, or are they doing it for likes? Are they sharing a great moment with you because it really was a great moment with you, or because it's going to be a real moment, it's going to get some likes?
Yeah.
I don't know. Those kind of things do bother me in relationships. It's nice to celebrate something that you've got. If you've got a good thing, if you go to a good restaurant, you want to tell me about the experience. So when you meet somebody new, people can feel it off of you. But I just feel with social media today, there's more than one person in your relationship, and that puts pressure.
Definitely. So, like, do you miss dating? Like, do you miss dating in your time? Like, tell me about a date that you went on that was like, yeah, this symbolizes what dating in my time was like.
It was actually going to the club.
Really?
Yeah, believe it or not. It would be going to a concert, grabbing something to eat, and going to a club, going to a bar.
Okay.
I've been away from clubs so long.
I'm like, you in the club, girl.
We used to be in the club. Yes, we used to be in the club. So yeah, it would be going to a club, or going to a concert, something to eat. But then there's also some of the more intimate, not so elaborate in terms of spending, but taking a walk down by London Bridge, grabbing a takeout, sitting by the water and a glass of wine. That's kind of appealing. But I think some of the romantic things happened a bit later, but unfortunately it's not necessarily. So I've got the great scenario in terms of the romantic date, but the wrong person. So, and that was, it was a Valentine's. Rose petals along the door to the hotel room, rose petals on the bed, in the bath, candles, perfect scenario. Wrong person. You need the right combination.
Yeah, I guess so.
You do. And what about for you? What would you consider?
I don't know. For me, the dating experience is like you. I haven't really dated a lot. I think I've started dating more now in my adult life. But I think like back in the day, maybe going to the movies, like when I was like in my 20s, I'd always be going to the movies. As I got older, I think traveling became like a big thing for me in my dating experience, and eating. I think food is my love language, so I'm always like, can I cook for you? Can we go out to eat at this restaurant that I really like? I think traveling and food for me, in most recent times, I believe that like dates look more like activities that I do in my time by myself as well. Like, I think going to the gym could be a date, maybe you and the person that you are interested in make an arrangement to go and take a gym class together, or going to a concert. I think I'm trying to find some more unconventional ways to date, because I think the mundane experience of eat and going to the movies, it's just kind of like played out to me. I'm like, what are some other creative ways we can get to know each other versus just sitting in a dark room and maybe getting a little tipsy and then
I've seen a lot of extension to you of the real elaborate performative things.
Gosh,
like flowers. This girl gets flowers
Mom.
for days. They flowers from the left.
Can you stop?
Okay, but when you do, I find that people want to shower you with gifts and really expensive gifts. And I think if they really knew you, I mean, please keep bringing the flowers.
Oh my gosh!
But the truth of the matter is, I realise that you're not really impressed with those things. You seem to like the more thought out. What's the most thought out? I mean, of all.
Oh my gosh! I'm going to tell you, I actually have one.
No names.
No.
And no places.
No, I don't tell my business.
I'm trying. Go on, tell me.
My most my most memorable and meaningful date was, I was like in the thick of my career. I was, going through a lot and traveling so much, and I had to do a stop off on the East Coast, and we just went to a park where you could see like the Statue of Liberty, Had a little box of fried chicken, a little small thing of Patron and some fruit. And we just sat there the whole time. I got to read my book. Like, they made a music playlist for me. And I think we sat in silence most of the time. But for me, that was like the most meaningful date I've been on actually in a very long time. Mainly because of what I was going through. You know, just needing a moment to just chill, but not being able to say, hey, I don't want to do too much, without dampening maybe what their plans were for me. But yeah, they hit it right on the head. It was a fried chicken date with a little bit of drink, my book. We got ice cream afterwards, and we just literally sat at the park for hours.
So it wasn't the fancy restaurant that people throw at you. It wasn't the huge bouquet of flowers.
No.
$1,000 shoes and $1,500 bags. Guys, can you just send the money to Mom, okay? Send them, and then I'll talk to her.
Can you stop? Oh my gosh.
I'm ready for that kind of dating, though.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it now.
Yeah.
So they can bring the bags and the shoes and the money.
Oh man.
But back on track.
Yeah.
So, from old school romance to modern love, we've only scratched the surface. Next time, we will explore even more important things. That topic might be a bit uncomfortable for me because we're going to be talking about parenting. And my parenting style is different to Simon. Really, we're going to be touching on how that affects you, how it's impacted you on a positive.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have to acknowledge that there has been some negative that I've learned from, so stay tuned.